Okay, so
Sorry.
we've got
Batman.
this. I picked this one. I was going to skip this article because I am very, very excited about the Batman, and I don't want to get like burnt out on it. One of the hardest parts about doing this is like you talk so much about the same topics, but it's so interesting a lot of times. Like we end up having these long discussions, but you worry that like you're covering too much of it or too little maybe sometimes. Right. But this one I wanted to add, like, because it goes into talk about the writing process here, and you as an author of Inverted World and others, you know, you've had multiple books, right?
This is my second book.
Your second book, and you've got more coming out. So I wanted to get a writer's perspective on what he says here. And plus me and you have had this discussion. We are DC guys.
I'm very excited about this movie.
Yes. Yeah. So this is right up your alley with everything, because I've been helping Shane record his Inverted World podcast segments with other guests. And so I've heard you discuss what makes you tick, the things that interest you, the things that catch your eye. So this movie is right up your alley. It says right here, this says Batman, Robert Pattinson, inspired by Nirvana and Kurt Cobain. It says, it's learned that Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson's The Batman is in part inspired by Nirvana and Kurt Cobain. The flick is featured in the latest issue of Empire magazine, which features cool covers and new images, as well as interviews with Reeves, Pattinson, and more. Reeves told Empire that when he writes, he likes to listen to music and happened to listen to Nirvana. Quote, when I write, I listen to music, and as I was writing the first act, I put on Nirvana's Something in the Way, Reeves said. That's when it came to me that rather than make Bruce Wayne the playboy version we've seen before, there's another version who has gone through a great tragedy and became a recluse. So I started making this connection to Gus Van Sant's Last Days, and that idea of this fictionalized version of Kurt Cobain being in this kind of decaying manner. Reeves also revealed that the movie starring Robert Pattinson, Good Time, in which caught Reeves' eye about the potential of the actor playing the Dark Knight. So he recognized him from Good Time, felt like that was what proved that he could take on this role. So before I go further, do you do anything similar with your writing?
Yeah.
I admit, like, personally, I feel like writing and listening to music would be counterintuitive. I understand that it would help you maybe emotionally connect with a certain type of mood or theme you're going for. But I'm so ADHD that I would have a hard time multitasking like that.
So I have a lot to say about that, but I want to address the Something in the Way first. It's my favorite Nirvana song,
and that's what they use, and that's what they used for the trailer in the movie.
Okay, and what's interesting about it is, he says. So it doesn't even matter what he says, but Batman, we all know, Bruce Wayne, there's a secret life, as mostly superheroes do. There's a double thing happening. Something in the Way, in my mind, has always had a secret life too. Okay. Oddly enough, because I love the record version. It's so gentle and sad, and I always reference the line, it's okay to eat fish because they don't have any feelings, because I don't eat meat, but I eat fish, and that's what I tell people. And
don't vegans get him. I'm joking. I don't
come for me.
I'm joking because PETA made human.
PETA means nothing. Don't you read Cassandra Fairbanks?
I know, but PETA made like clothing articles that are made out of human skin.
Yeah.
So I do not
Nothing
support
weird
them.
about that.
No. So I love that record, and it's just so beautiful. However, my favorite version of it is whenever they played it live. You ever see those videos? As a full band with the heavy distortion and Grohl on drums. Yeah. So there's two videos of them, like, I think maybe debuting the song in a record store before that record came out, and there's two different angles. It's beautiful. So the song to me is always like these two different versions of it exist that I love. Yeah. In terms of writing and music, I listen to a lot of music while writing, but
Can you explain that process?
Yeah, it depends where I am in the process. What music I'm listening to depends where I am in the process. So when I'm in the first like drafting phase and I'm just outlining and just kind of freestyle writing, like I'm not thinking too hard, I'm listening to whatever I want. In terms of the last chapter of this book and the story that we just finished on YouTube for the Long Island Monster and the serial killer stories, I had a very clear set list that I was reporting on the story. I was in Long Island looking at where these women were found, left by the serial killer, and just my wife had the aux cable in the car and played music, and it just so happened every song had like a feeling that I needed. It was Level Tear Us Apart by Joy Division, Disorder by Joy Division, Fine Young Cannibals, Gods and Monsters by Gods and Monsters by Lana Del Rey, Me and the Devil, both the Soap and Skin and Gil Scott-Heron version. And so that really infected the way I wrote. So I can listen to music with lyrics while I'm in the first process. When I get deeper in, I have to really pay attention to my word structure and all that stuff. I'm listening to like mostly instrumental stuff.
Okay, I was like, maybe listen to instrumentals.
I'll get into like a lot of like Trent Reznor, like instrumental stuff like that he's scored. For this, I actually did listen to like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo a bunch. So it was just like exactly what I wanted, or his Ghost stuff. So that's I'm always have something on. It just, if it has lyrics, it has to be when I'm not in later in the process.
So it probably informed his writing here with this, and then it obviously affected him because then they used the song for the trailer.
Yeah.
Actually, I kind of funny what you mentioned about Something in the Way. There's a song called Arsonist Lullaby by Hoser, and the recorded the regular version, the standard album version is amazing, but there's like these there's one YouTube version that's not a professional setup. It's just a fan who recorded the song for during a live performance. That something about the way the guitar hits is so much more impactful, whether that's because it was turned up, because the amp was turned up to a certain level, but it just hits in a way that it felt like it was meant to in the original song and doesn't. But both of them I love for the same reason. There's a song, a cover of the song "Stand by Me" by a group called KI Theory. That is a haunting version of that song. It's nothing like the original. And they do an electric, because it's like electronic. It's almost hard to explain. If you get a chance later, listen to it.
I will.
But there's this live version that they do in Seattle that is just so. It sounds almost exactly like the album version to a T, but something about the audience weight. There's weight to it that isn't there in the original.
I love it.
So like I can absolutely see how that would affect
for sure. And you can see
the writing process
almost in the face. I mean, now I'd be projecting onto what I've already seen, having read this already. But there is a sadness that is, I think, almost unmatched in that album version of Something in the Way. And I can totally see how it would infect the way you want to have pacing and the sadness, the tone.
It would be interesting to see if we could find out. Maybe if we're.
Well, he said it was the first act.
Okay, but no, I'm saying, but it'd be interesting to find out if he was listening to that version.
I'm sure he was listening to the album version, but maybe I'd love to ask. I would love to find out.
That's what I'm saying. That'd be interesting to be able to ask him that question.
The live version is so, because the chorus has the drums. It's it's overwhelming.
Yep. So let's keep going. It says, in the movie, you could really feel his vulnerability and desperation, but you could also feel his power, explained Reeves. I thought that was a great mix. He's also got the Kurt Cobain thing where he looks like a rock star. They do. A lot of people have been giving him crap because the hair.
Yeah.
It's very not like.
It's not Kurt Cobain hair though.
But it's 90s Gen X hair is what it is.
Is that what it is? I was thinking it was more like an early Jared Leto look.
It's like half John Wick hair. It's like
half John Wick. Yeah.
It's like he's like, I want to look like John Wick, but I'm not. It's not quite that long yet. It says he's also got this Kurt Cobain thing where he looks like a rock star, but you also feel like he could be a recluse. I didn't really get the rock star vibe from that character. I mean, maybe like 80s glam rock.
That, or like the emo look.
Yeah. So Robert Pattinson also added that his version of Batman and Bruce Wayne isn't similar to previous on-screen versions, and it sounds as if Pattinson's version is more of a loner. I would argue that Batman is always a loner.
He always makes that speech to every Robin. I work alone.
Right.
I don't work with anybody else.
Right.
In the movies, I'm trying to think of he's got Alfred in all the movies, but he doesn't.
But
really
Alfred is never on the mission with him. He's not in the scene.
He's got. He in the Bale ones, he has he loses the love of his life, and then he has a brief dalliance with Talia in the third one. But in general, you don't think of him as a social person. In fact, they rarely delve into how he manipulates people with his playboy persona. There'll be one or two beats a movie where that's a thing. But it doesn't feel like he wears that mask in the movies a lot.
It's funny how Reeves says, watching Robert Pattinson in Good Time was an inspiration, because the Batman franchise is one of those movies where I'm always thinking about what movie inspired the director to get this person to play the part. So let's see, Christian Bale, right? Do you know what movie like in your mind, or I don't know if it's actually out there or not, but
I don't
American
think
Psycho is
that one's good.
Is Batman, right?
Yep.
He's Bateman. And for Bane with Tom Hardy, have you seen Bronson? I could talk about this all the time, but that to me was like that was his audition almost to be Bane. And now we see this good time with and even what's his name? With Mike who was the first
Keaton?
With Keaton.
Yeah.
Beetlejuice.
Yep.
When they already knew, I think at that point, when he comes out as Beetlejuice with the bat and stuff, and like it's like they're foreshadowing. They know it. I love that.
They have the role that kind of puts them in place. I wonder what I would like to know how Daniel Craig got cast. Like what role made him perfect for James Bond?
True.
Layer cake, or
that's a good point.
He also played, weirdly enough, in the Tomb Raider movie. Played an American, while Angelina Jolie played a British person. Yes,
I didn't know that.
Very very random, very weird. But he was technically like what was the role that got him that
Do we know what role helped them decide on Heath Ledger?
I don't think they meant.
There might not have been, right?
Actually, I think that was discussed in at least one of the documentaries I've seen, but I wouldn't be able to tell you off the top of my head.
I'd like to know.
But they were originally they didn't want to cast him for that, and they changed their mind, I believe. I could be misremembering that, but there have been plenty of documentaries on that whole situation.
I'm really excited for Paul Dano.
Yep, Paul Dano is going to be probably the best part of the movie.
Really like Paul Dano.
They want to do Barry Keoghan. There's possibility that Barry Keoghan plays the Joker. He plays Druig in the movie Eternals, but he's also going to be in the Gotham Knights TV show, or not Gotham. I'm sorry, not Gotham Knights, in the Gotham PD, the Penguin spin-off series that they're doing on.
For that series, are they doing the actor that played in Gotham, like their version of Penguin?
No, Colin Farrell, the Joker, or the Penguin from the Batman movie.
Okay.
I would say that Gotham is probably done. They're not going to continue with any of those characters furthermore. Though Gotham was a fantastic show, especially in the later seasons.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. For me, I just prefer that Penguin. Like if they got like that Penguin to be in the new spin-off series.
Colin Farrell costs a lot of money, so they got to get their money's worth
on
that. Like it is funny that they get like a really handsome, good-looking dude, and then just cover him in makeup and make him like overweight. Like when they could have like there's an actor named Pruitt Taylor Vance who's like a pretty big dude who probably could have played the Penguin, and he's actually like a fantastic actor, but he's not quite theatrical enough.
Right. Well, Danny DeVito did a good one.
Yeah. So it's interesting. Me and you are both very, very excited for this movie.
Yeah.
To the point where like the very clear virtue signaling changes that have been made don't really bother me because I trust Matt Reeves as Jeffrey Wright as Commissioner Gordon.
I love him.
Doesn't bother me. Even being swapped. Catwoman being
Hispanic?
No, I don't care. I'm saying her name. Zoe Kravitz, right?
Yeah.
Hubba Hubba.
Yeah, beautiful. And she looks like she's going to be great.
She looks great as Catwoman. Like none of those changes mattered. Andy Serkis as Alfred is really interesting because I loved the Jeremy Irons Joker from the Ben Affleck run. Joker. The Jeremy Irons Alfred. Because it felt like where in the past like Michael Caine was kind of like a mentor of sorts, and very like sobering and caring, whereas Jeremy Irons was very quick-witted and like pushed back on him.
You know, it's funny, like when you were talking about Matrix and that vibe of something being filmed in the 90s, when I saw the very first trailer for the Batman, there's a scene, I think it's in a parking garage, and he's beating up all these guys. I was instantly transported back
to the makeup that they're wearing.
And the makeup. I was transported back to like Michael Keaton's Batman. I believe he's also in a parking garage beating up a bunch of people. I was like, that's the way it looks, and it felt... So I felt very confident just from that one image. I feel really good about it.
Getting away from using the tumbler helps too, because it evokes the old Batmobile. So I love the Planet of the Apes trilogy that Matt Reeves did, so I have a lot of faith that this will.
I saw all those.
High recommend. If you ever want to see an idea of like just how difficult it can be to be an actor, there's footage of like Andy Serkis having to do these really emotional scenes with Woody Harrelson, wearing like a mocap suit, like a fake gorilla. And they're doing these deep emotional monologues, and it looks ridiculous. ridiculous without the CGI.
How are they not cracking?
How are they not cracking? It's incredible. So I'm more excited about this than I was about Spider-Man, and I was fairly excited about Spider-Man, but I just was. You ever think you could write a movie?
Yeah, I would love to.
Is that something that you'd be interested in doing?
For sure. Yeah, I've got a bunch of like little scripts stored away for stuff. Either, I've got like spec scripts for shows that I love, and some, for sure, movie ideas. I don't know if I'd do a superhero movie, but I like the challenge. So if it ever arises, I'd love to.
Paul Dano is going to be incredible in that role.
I like everything he does. Yeah. Like that. What's that movie with Daniel Radcliffe?
Yeah. Oh God.
When Daniel Radcliffe plays the corpse.
We're gonna have to look it up.
Oh, it's great. I love Little Miss Sunshine. I love There Will Be Blood.
There Will Be Blood. My first, oddly enough, introduction to him was in the movie The Girl Next Door with Alicia Cuthbert and Elijah, not Elijah Wood. But yeah, it's like this. It was like a mid 2000s romantic comedy that had like maybe one of the hardest marketing jobs I've ever seen for a movie because there was no way to market it because it's like it's based around the idea of like the porn industry, but it has nothing really to do with the porn industry. So it's like literally I don't even know how a movie with like that hard of a time being marketed would ever get made now because they're like, how do we sell this movie to the public? Because nobody knew.
Advertise on Pornhub.
Well, they couldn't. But I'm saying then they're not getting the audience they want. Like,
yeah, you are. No. It's talking about the porn industry. Like you have people like me who wander on page 100 and something.
Prisoners was the other one. Prisoners.
I haven't seen that.
Yeah, so he's good in everything that he does.
Did you see Little Miss Sunshine?
I did. A long time ago.
Yeah, I love that movie. I thought he was great in it. But There Will Be Blood's one of my favorite movies of all time.
He's just one of those actors where I would have never thought of him, but as soon as they mentioned him, I'm like,
his voice sounds great in the trailer.
There's definitely there's got to be some at least post-production done to that.
You think?
Yeah. I mean,
Lots of bass.
It's really like
strip any treble out of there.
Get it all over. Like doesn't feel like if he's moving at all, maybe you get that deep there. But I'm really excited.
Here's a question I'm always
who's John Turturro playing?
You.
I don't even know who John Turturro.
How did you feel about Bane and his voice in particular by Tom Hardy?
It didn't bother me the way it bothered other people.
Right. Yeah, me too. I liked it.
I felt like if he was taller, it would have looked ridiculous. But because he's not super tall, he was just in really good shape. It worked for that character. Yeah. But I also wasn't enamored with that with The Dark Knight Rises at all. I don't even like The Dark Knight more than my favorite in that trilogy is Batman Begins.
It's great.
I love Batman
Begins and then The Dark Knight are my favorite. And I really like 3, but it's like I don't need it.
I have incredible like nostalgia and memories around The Dark Knight because of like where I was at my life at that time, meaning like I have memories of me and my friends getting opening night tickets, and we didn't really go see movies as a big group very often. Cool. I remember the only time I've ever been any type of car accident was I got bumped when Heath Ledger died. I was listening to the radio, and all of a sudden a car bumps me, and the person gets out. I talked to them, and they had just heard it on their radio that Heath Ledger had died, and they mentioned it like they kind of like looked up, and my car was there. We were like coming off an off ramp, so like we had like I have all these
kind of a beautiful moment.
Yeah, it is, and so I have all these memories based around that movie that have more to do with being in that theater with my friends.
Right.
Even though to me, Batman Begins was the better movie or my preferential movie in that trilogy. Right. But that movie just has so much history and so much lore behind it now.
Yeah, that's
so
good.
Yeah, so I mean, it's crazy that like I really do feel like they could just like, wouldn't they be less scared to just try new characters? Like it's so easy to screw these movies up now when so many great performances have been given into these characters.
And you told me you liked Ben Affleck as Batman.
I understand that a lot of people. Sorry to
throw you under the bus. I don't know if you've already.
That a lot of people didn't like Ben Affleck as Batman. I also liked Zack Snyder's movies because in an age where I understand that there's plot holes and there's things that don't make sense, but in an age where Marvel movies are coming out at you every 3-4 months and they're winking at the camera and it's jokes while the world's about to end, I was starved for something that felt serious. So something that felt like it took itself seriously.
So I like him as a Batman too. I just didn't like those movies.
You've never seen the extended edition.
I haven't seen that though. You told me to watch that.
If you haven't seen the extended edition of Batman vs Superman, I recommend it, and I do recommend watching the Snyder Snyder cut of the Justice League movie if you can find 5 hours to fill in your. Watch it in chunks. It literally comes in chunks. So
all right.
at the very least, even if you don't feel like it does the characters the most justice, just the fact that it takes itself seriously is enough.
Yeah. Miracle, do you have a favorite Batman? Like for actor-wise?
Actor-wise? Well, because Brett and I were talking about it, I grew up more on the animation series.
Yep.
Which one?
Batman Beyond.
Was that the one?
It's
was
with
he a younger Batman?
It's a younger, it's an old Batman, but he finds out that he has a illegitimate child, Terry something. What's his last name? I can't think of his last name, but his first name is Terry, and it's in the future, so they have
like really big eyes in that one. I'm trying to think what that looked like.
No, so basically what it is the Joker's dead, but they replace him with a different Joker. I think he's like Joker Jr. or something, but Harley Quinn, she has granddaughters, and one of them, they're both named Dee Dee.
Okay.
Did you ever see Mask of the Phantasm?
I think I did. Okay. I'm just not familiar with it.
That got a theatrical release. I never knew that.
Mm-hmm. Huh. I'm not really familiar with it, and also I'm looking at new Disney Plus movies and TV shows that are coming out. That's why I've been quiet. Did you know that they're making a new Pinocchio live action?
Oh boy. Can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They remade Turner and Hooch, which is when
Do you know who they cast as Pinocchio?
No.
Oh, Dr. Fauci.
That's great.
Who is that? I don't know who that is.
But also,
I watched the Batman cartoon growing up in the 90s. I don't remember.
Oh, that one I watched it too.
Love that one.
Mm-hmm. Batman the series. But also speaking about new remakes, they're making a new Cinderella movie, but it's not called Cinderella. It's called Sneakerella.
And that's got horrible reviews. We could make whole videos on that. That's almost too depressing.
Yeah, I've been like looking at movies. I'm like listening to you talk. Ooh, that's really cool. That
you can't. If you're, do you have that article pulled up?
Which one?
The one about the Batman that I sent you.
Oh yeah.
Scroll down. Look at that Empire cover. It's really awesome.
It's really good.
The use of red there, and I love Catwoman's image there.
Mm-hmm.
Pulling off the short hair. That art right there is fantastic. So.
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow! Yeah. This looks great.
Yep.
That's a poster I would have had on my wall.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm excited.
Yeah, I don't know.
Why does Batman endure? I mean, they all do, I guess.
Mm-hmm. But Batman has a stronger story, and people like him more.
Which is what I was saying, and I saw people get mad about. But to me, they were like, DC has more weight. There is more like psychology happening in a movie like this than there is in the Spider-Man. I know, yes, there is some psychology, and he has to do these things, and he has regret, and there's sadness, but to me, like the DC universe just has a narrative that I can sink my teeth into more.
Yep. I'm far. That's just me. I'm the same way. There's a disposability to the Marvel movies. There's like I never know how the word to phrase it with. I say it's opaque. Like when I'm watching it, the cinematography feels bland.
Yeah.
The atmosphere feels paint by numbers and bland. I don't know if that's just my own perception colored on top of like how I'm already judging it.
It's almost like Chris Carr said something like this after he saw the movie, and it was like, the Spider-Man movie.
I didn't see it. I did not feel that in Spider-Man.
Oh, he was saying like I think, and I don't want to. I'm paraphrasing, but he said like it captured that comic book feel.
Yeah,
on the page.
No, absolutely.
Not just like the naivete of Peter Parker, but like the actual way it looks like a classic. But like when I think
how
of
it's
Batman,
set up, it's like
I think of the graphic novels, right?
Morbius looks the same to me. It captures the comic book feel to it.
I'm so excited for that movie to come out.
Yeah.
So
there was a little wink to the audience in that one with Michael Keaton.
Yeah,
remember the trailer?
Yeah. Yep. Well, he's also he played Vulture in the Marvel cinema. So he's already a Marvel character.
Oh, cool! I didn't know that.
Yeah. So that's me and her are more excited about the Sony movies than we are about the standard Marvel movies.
Yes.
Yep.
I didn't see the new Venom, but I saw the first and I loved it.
The new Venom. Brett and I fight about this. I said it was like the pacing was really quick, and there was a lot of things that were missing in the plot, and then we both agreed the love between Shriek and I finally got her name right.
You got her name right. That was good.
Shriek and is it Curtis or
yeah. So
basically,
Carnage, but yeah. So
it's Curtis and Screech. Like basically
Shriek.
I can't do this anymore.
Screech. Can we talk about Saved by the Bell?
He died.
Yes, he did.
He died, and so he's not in the new remake. But basically, like their chemistry on screen is not that good. They're both good actors.
Did you call him Curtis?
Yeah.
Cletus.
My bad. I can't get names right. Like all the Marvel characters have the school rewrite all their names.
It's okay. It's a miracle. She gets my name wrong all the time. No.
No, I get your last name wrong because I'm reading it in Russian.
So I'm we've gone over the Venom stuff all the time, but the point is go see Batman when it comes out.
Yeah. I'm excited for that one, but I'm really excited for Morbius. And
that one's sooner too. That one's I think February.
Yeah, I'm searching up all the movies so we can schedule out like what movies we're going to see.
Yeah.
Maybe we can invite you so we can have you on again to talk about all the movies.
Do you think there'll be a point in the future when we get the DC and Marvel movies will cross over like the video games did at some point?
The rights issues would be insane. Yeah. I don't see that happening in the
Could we see
too much money, too much pissing in the other group's sandbox.
Oh my god, could we see like Captain America versus Superman?
Nope. Marvel versus Capcom maybe.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Was that what I was thinking of?
Well, that was
it's one of the video games. Yeah, I like that one more.
Yeah. Marvel vs. Capcom. Yeah.
Because you get to see Street Fighter fight like all the Marvel characters.
Makes perfect sense. They should have done Street Fighter and Streets of Rage.
What's Street of Rage?
Oh my god.
I don't know either.
Oh my god.
I like when we both upset Brett.
Yeah. It's like a tag team.
Streets of Rage, man. It's a great
what is it?
It's a great video game.
Primal Rage.
It was a video game from the 90s. It was a Sega game.
Okay, whenever I had a system, I only ever had enough money for one game for it. So it was like
growing up poor.
I still play.
GoldenEye.
I don't play new games. I play nothing but N64 and Sega Genesis.
For N64, for Sega, I had Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim is good.
Oh, they're making an animated series for that.
Also, Pokemon Snap, one of the most underrated games of all time.
They made a remake of that.
Oh wow!
A video game about photography. Who would have thought?
Wow, beautiful.
Well, they made a remake of it, and it's kind of good. It has like the esque of the N64.
Yeah.
Sorry, I like slurred my words right there.
So
Sorry.
you're like Jake Paul, is what you're saying. You're the Jake Paul. Of
I was going to
job.
say that. He read my mind.
Yeah.
I'm kind of am like.
Yeah.
What's Miracle's catchphrase is I can't English.
I can't English right now. Like, call me later.
She says it all the time, though. She can never English. That's the problem. She's always can't English right now. Thanks for watching this clip, guys. If you want to see full episodes or follow us on social media, links are in the description below. Bye.
Bye.